I'm Will, and today I'm going to talk you through connecting Power BI with Orchestra. To start with, we jump into the Orchestra app and we head to integrations. We click New Connection, and then we scroll down to the Power BI connection. The first thing is to give our connection a name. For this, I'm just going to call it Demo. You can put anything you want here. This is any string. The next step is to go to the Azure portal. We navigate to Entra, which used to be called Azure Active Directory, but is now called Microsoft Entra. The first field we can get is the tenant ID. This is found here. We copy this, go back to Orchestra, and we put it in the tenant ID field. Back in Azure, we navigate to App Registrations on the left-hand side. We click New Registration, and we give it a name. For this, I'm going to call it Orchestra Demo. We make sure we select accounts in this organization directory only for the supported account types, and then we click register at the bottom left. The next value we can get is the application client ID. We copy this and go back to Orchestra and enter it in the application ID field. Now we can see we need to generate a client secret. To do this, we go back to the Azure portal. We navigate to the certificates and secrets section. We click new client secret. We give it a description. I'm just going to put Orchestra. We'll leave the expires as standard. We click add. And now we copy the value of this secret. Back in Orchestra, we enter this as the client secret value. Now we need to add the correct API permissions to the app. So back in Azure, we go to API permissions for the app we're configuring. We do add a permission. We scroll down to Power BI service. We click application permissions. And then we select the tenant permissions here. We click add permissions to add those. We also need to then grant admin consent for the default directory. We click check and we click yes. And we get some green ticks. The next step is to create a security group for this application. We go back to the default directory here. We click groups. We click new group. Enter the group name, Orchestra Demo Group. We click no members selected, and then we search for the application we just made, which was Orchestra Demo. Here's our enterprise application. We select that, we click select, and then create. Now we need to go back to the application and add the group to the application. To do this, we go to default directory, we go to enterprise applications now, we find the Orchestra Demo application, we click users and groups on the left, we click add user group, click none selected, and then we look for the group we just made, which was Orchestra Demo Group. Select that, select, assign. Great. Now we've set up the permissions within Entra, we can head over to Power BI to configure it there. We navigate to Power BI, we click the settings cog at the top right, and then we click admin portal. Sometimes the list here on the left won't be as long as you're seeing now. This means you don't have the required permissions, and you'll need to either ask the person who has the required permissions to do this for you, or you'll need to ask them to grant you the permissions so you can do this yourself. We search for API in the filter section. We're looking for the section called Developer Settings. We look for Service Principals Can Use Fabric APIs. Expand this out, ensure it is enabled, and then we add our security group, which was Orchestra Demo Group. It comes up here, we select that, and then we click apply. Note, it says here these settings can take 15 minutes to change. Sometimes they do take this long, oftentimes they don't. The next step is to go to your workspace and grant access for that application. To do this, we head to workspaces. I've created a dummy account here, so we're just going to do the test workspace. We do manage access. We do add people or groups. Search for the application name, which was Orchestra Demo. And we'll be sure to add the one that has the app ID. Don't add the group here, add the app ID. We're going to make them a member. We click add. Now we've done that, we're ready to finish off connecting. We need to get the workspace ID to be able to authenticate correctly within Orchestra. To get this, we extract it from the URL. It's this UID between the word groups and list when you're on the workspace page. So just copy that, and then we go back to here and paste it there. And now we're ready to click Add Credentials, and we've successfully authenticated. To confirm we've correctly configured Power BI, we can create a pipeline that will refresh a dataset for us. To do that, we navigate to Pipelines, we click New Pipeline, we give it a name, Test Power BI Connection, we click Next, we'll select Manual as the trigger type, we add the task, which is to refresh the dataset. We click Add Task, we select the Power BI Refresh Dataset task, we give it a name, and now we need to get the dataset ID. To get the dataset ID, we look in the URL for the dataset ID after the datasets. To do that, we go back to Power BI, we go to our semantic model or dataset, and then we get the UID after datasets here. So it's this part of the URL, copy that, and paste it into our pipeline. Click Next, and then we click Save and Exit. We won't configure alerting right now as this pipeline run. And here we can see the task has succeeded, the dataset refresh succeeded with a completed state. And that's it. We've configured Power BI with Orchestra, and we can refresh any dataset we wish.